When I was in elementary school, my father would often take me hiking in the mountains. One night we had stayed out too long and it began to grow dark. A thick fog drifted over the hillside and we could barely see the path in front of us. My father was holding my hand to make sure I didn't fall. As we made our way down the slope, I noticed a small, shadowy figure appearing out of the mist on the path up ahead. My father suddenly squeezed my hand very tight. "Ow, Dad, that hurts," I cried. My father looked down at me. His face was grim. "Close your eyes," he barked, "and don't open them again until I say so." His tone of voice was so stern that I did as I was told without questioning it. He kept a tight grip on my hand, and with my eyes tightly shut, I stumbled along beside him through the fog. When we passed the spot where the shadowy figure had been, I heard a small voice muttering, "Die, die, die, die." The rest of the way down, my father was silent, and it wasn't until we got back home that he finally allowed me to open my eyes. Since that time, he refused to speak about the incident. 20 years later, I paid my father a visit. He was drinking some alcohol and we were having a heart-to-heart conversation. Something reminded me of the strange incident on the mountain path, and I decided to ask him about it. "Remember that small, shadowy figure in the fog?" I said. "Who was it?" My father was silent for quite a while, and eventually in a low voice he replied, "It was you." With that, he refilled his glass and refused to discuss it any further. This morning I stepped out of the shower, and this bathroom was fine. White walls, white tiles, sinking counter with toothpaste crusted all over it. 3 out of the 4 light bulbs over the mirror were still good. 100-watt, clear bulb, blinding bright in the small white room. Like always, I was late, so I skipped shaving. She liked it when I didn't shave anyway. I was thinking about doing mutton chops. She'd get a kick out of that. I passed the mirror and noticed I was grinning. I didn't even know I was grinning. I'm in the bathroom tonight before bed, and there's something wrong with the lights. All 3 are on again, but they glow kind of brown and don't really light up the rest of the room. I should get more bulbs from the kitchen. I should, but I'm busy. The date was shit, and she shut her apartment door on me. You'd think that would wipe off this stupid grin from this morning, but I came back into the bathroom and, in the mirror, my face was still doing it. If I touch my face, it doesn't feel like a grin, but there it is in the mirror. In the brown light, it's hard to make out, but have you ever actually counted how many teeth show when you smile? I lean in close. 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't know my mouth was so wide. 9, 10, 11. I can't do mutton chops after all. The corner of my lips are out to my ears. It still doesn't feel like a grin, but keep counting for curiosity. 36, 37, 38, 39. In 1938, over 6,000 patients were checked into mental hospitals all across America within 1 week of each other. Reports of similar instances supposedly came from Europe and Asia as well. The circumstances of each patient were eerily identical. Every patient completely shut down, shivering in the corner until their family, unable to calm or care for the individuals, committed them. The only thing the patients would say was, "There is not and never has been such a thing in this world as a meaningless coincidence." The images we see in the mirror are the pure incarnates of evil. They are only allowed to exist in the area reflected in the glass. To them, life is like a never-ending hell, rotting away in the same room day after day. The only refuge from this purgatory is death, and the only way for them to die, sad to say, is if you die. Fortunately, they are bound by a code. You are their master, and they must mirror your every movement and expression. To do otherwise would break an unbreakable law, unraveling the space-time continuum. However, there is a loophole, and it can only be triggered by you, the master. To force them into error is to free them from their contract. After you let them out of your view, you're on your own. Know this. When you watch them, they're watching you back. They're watching, and they're thinking. A strange ringtone plays on your cell phone. You reach for it, but whoever it was must have hung up. A wrong number, maybe? You look at the phone anyway. You've missed a call. You listen to it. When you put your phone to your ear, suddenly you hear a scream of pain. You toss the cell across the room, but you can still hear it. When you finally pick up the phone, you see who the call was from. You realize whose voice it was. Yours. One afternoon, a couple was traveling on by car when at a far distance they saw a woman in the middle of the road waving frantically. The wife told her husband to keep on driving because it might be too dangerous, but the husband decided to pass by slowly so he wouldn't stay with the doubt on his mind of what might have happened and the chances of anyone being hurt. As they got closer, they noticed a woman with cuts and bruises on her face as well on her arms. They then decided to stop and see if they could be of any help. The cut and bruised woman was begging for help, telling them that she'd been in a car accident and that her husband and son, a newborn baby, were still inside the car, which was in a deep ditch. She told them that the husband was already dead, but that her baby seemed to be alive. The husband that was traveling decided to get down and try to rescue the baby, and he asked the hurt woman to stay with his wife inside their car. When he got down, he noticed two people in the front seats of the car, but he didn't pay any attention to it and took out the baby quickly and got up to take the baby to its mother. When he got up, he didn't see the mother anywhere, so he asked his wife where she had gone. She told him the woman followed him back to the crashed car. When the husband went back to look for her, he noticed that clearly the couple in the front seats were dead, one of whom was unmistakably the woman who had flagged them down. When I was 7, I woke up in the middle of the night with an earache. I decided to tell my mom and stepdad and walked out of my room. Someone was sitting on the chair in the living room. This person looked strange. Their face was just kind of distorted. But it was dark and I couldn't see very well. "Mom?" I asked. The person shook their head, and I started getting scared. "Mike?" The person shook their head again. I decided the best course of option was to go back to bed so I wouldn't have to walk past this person. I climbed into bed and closed my eyes for a second before opening them and seeing the person standing in my doorway, smiling madly and nodding furiously. If you like what you heard, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you'd like to, you can follow me at Twitter. The handle is @FuzzyPantaloons, and I'll see you all next time.